So, how many of you realize there's a national holiday between October 31st, Halloween, and Black Friday? That's right, there's a holiday called Thanksgiving. That's this time on The first Thanksgiving is said to have been held in 1621. The Pilgrims, having just had their first successful harvest, invited the Wampanoag tribe to a 3-day festival. This festival consisted of hunting, eating, and games. You see, the year previous, the Pilgrims had lost almost half their population over the winter due to not having enough food. They had asked the Wampanoag Indians to help them this time and were able to store enough food for the upcoming winter. That first Thanksgiving looked a lot different than today, though. There was no turkey, or pumpkin, or even potatoes. They most likely ate goose and venison. The Wampanoag tribe was said to have killed 5 deer and brought them as their gift. And seafood, such as lobster and fish, was most likely on the menu. This was, however, a one-time deal. It wasn't until 1789, almost 170 years later, that Thanksgiving was held throughout the country. In 1789, President George Washington announced the first ever national Thanksgiving holiday. It was a celebration of the victory at Saratoga, but it too was a one-time deal. Governors and province leaders would call for a Thanksgiving festival to celebrate anything from a good harvest to rain-ending drought or military triumphs. But these were never annual or celebrated by the whole country. But thanks to the almost 30-year effort of one woman, Thanksgiving became a national holiday in 1863. Around 1830 or so, Sarah Joseph Hale started a letter-writing campaign to get the government to institute a day of Thanksgiving. She thought it might help tame the masses that seemed headed for a civil war. She was a writer best known for writing the poem, Mary Had a Little Lamb. She was also one of the only women editors and published a magazine in Boston simply named Ladies Magazine. She used her magazine to persuade its readers to also write the president, asking for a national day of Thanksgiving. She published recipes to serve at Thanksgiving, including turkey, pumpkin, pie, and stuffing. Finally, in 1863, President Lincoln agreed and announced that Thanksgiving would be celebrated every year on the 4th Thursday of November. In 1939, Franklin D. Roosevelt, trying to jumpstart a stalled economy, still hurting from the Great Depression, noticed that people started spending money for Christmas the day after Thanksgiving. So he moved Thanksgiving up 7 days. So retailers had one more week of selling before Christmas. This idea was not received and became known as Franksgiving. Thankfully, in 1941, FDR signed a bill permanently placing Thanksgiving on the 4th Thursday of November, where we still celebrate it to this day. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year. Back when I still had family, they'd come from all across the nation every Thanksgiving to Lubbock. I had them come from the East Coast, the West Coast, and even south of the border. It was so much fun having all those people in my grandmother's small little house, all huddled around that big wooden table with all the good stuff, the turkey, the dressing, the ham, the chicken, the green bean casserole, the pumpkin pie, the pecan pie. It was wonderful. And then we went back the next day. The ones that got to stay would go back the next day and have lunch. So it was awesome getting to see all those people. I had one of my particular favorite relatives lived on the West Coast up in Seattle. And he would come back and tell me about all the cool things that he'd seen in Seattle. He told me about VCRs before they came along. He told me about DVDs, and even about DVRs, way before DVRs were ever thought about. Stuff he'd seen up there. It was always cool getting to talk to him because I didn't realize how much of the country I was missing growing up in backwoods Lubbock. But it was so much fun getting to see all those people. But one by one, they all left us, and now it's just Mom and I. It's still fun. I get to smoke a turkey every year or two. And we make other things and stuff and eat. And can't forget about the stuffing. Didn't realize it at the time until I started going to eat at other people's houses, and they had just stuffing. The Conleys had cornbread and sausage stuffing. It's the best stuff in the world. The last 2 years we thought it was lost. Mom had the recipe and she's sort of gotten forgetful, sort of, and we thought she'd thrown away the recipe. She knew it by heart for many years, but she's forgotten a lot of stuff. And we couldn't find the recipe, and so the last 2 years I've just made stuff up, and it was decent, it was good. But about 6 months ago, going through a stack of papers, we found the recipe. I made copy after copy after copy. In fact, one's hidden over in that display over there, so in case if all the others get help, I know where one's hidden so I can find it. But that's why Thanksgiving is my favorite year, and I don't think it should be forgotten. I don't think it should be, turned into another holiday like Columbus Day, where we know it's a day for the banks and everybody else to close, but everybody else goes about their business. That's what's going to happen. Black Friday is coming to Wednesday. They used to start it at, it was early in the morning, 6 a.m. Black Friday, and then they moved it to 4, and now it's midnight, and now this last year they had them open in like 6 p.m. on Wednesday. So the poor employees have to go in and work on Thanksgiving. You think that the people that instituted these things, we'll open up at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, do you think they're going to be up there working? No way. They're going to be at home, watching TV, watching the Cowboys play, eating the stuff that they're supposed to, and having a good day, while the peon employees have to work. That's not right. I don't think it should be that way. I think Thanksgiving should be getting to be with family you haven't seen in a while, getting to watch the Cowboys play and win, hopefully, and getting to be surrounded by loved ones as you fall asleep on the couch because you ate too much turkey. But I'm afraid it's not going to be that way much longer. So that's why I make this video saying, don't forget Thanksgiving. Don't skip right over it because it doesn't make anybody any money. Still, I know that families don't always get along and that Thanksgiving tends to be a little bit stressful for some people, but it's your family. You won't have them for long, as I can testify to now. You'll miss them when they're gone. So please don't forget about Thanksgiving. Keep it as one of the best Thanksgivings. Keep it as one of the best holidays of the year, because to me it still is. That's it for this edition of The Gadget Gardener.